Welcome to another episode of Motivational Sundays with Kevin and Friends. I am so excited today. This show was originally created from the contents of the 300 or more motivational quotes that I had created for the contents of my books. Understanding that every quote landed on someone differently, I was always curious. Were these quotes just words that landed on a page, or were there a conversation to be had? So we created this platform, and actually got a chance to join in with a couple of friends. Hi, my name is Kevin Mclemore. I'm the host. I am joined with my co-host, Andrea Lyman, co-host Otis Spencer, co-host Linez um, Kinsey, co-host couple Christopher and Gilda James, my co-host Naheem Garcia. And today we have a wonderful quote that's brought to us by Miss Larnez. I am so curious to see how this quote lands on everyone. We meet every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everyone is welcome as long as you bring a positive attitude. If you want to learn more information, stick around at the end of the show. We'll give you the link and how you could be a guest on this show. Not everyone gets a chance to be a guest on a podcast. So, Lanez, all right, I know you're ready. I know I'm going to
Mhm.
ask you what time it is, and you're going to build me a clock. So it is a 30-minute show. We have some other people on here, so let's fire away. And Otis, will you do me a favor? All right. Can you tell the world, because we are global right now, what today's quote is? And we'll ask Lanez why this quote landed on her.
Certainly. Good morning. Trees don't hang around with grass, even though they started from the same place.
Shake my head and get ready. I'm going to buckle up and hold on. Lanez, woo, go ahead.
Mhm. Okay, this is one of the profound statements that I love to reflect on. Trees don't hang around with grass, even though they came from the same place. It's simple, yet thought-provoking observation is one that holds deeper truth about life, growth, and resilience. When I find myself thinking about a tree in its environment, insufficient of nutrition and water, it doesn't wither away. Instead, it reaches deep within itself, drawing from its reservoirs, tapping into its internal tears, its internal water source to sustain its growth and reach its potential. Yes, trees cry. They cry not out of weakness, but out of necessity. And here lies the first lesson that we need to learn from trees, which is resilience. Life may not always provide us with the ideal circumstances. We may face challenges, droughts of motivation, and moments where external support is scarce. But like trees, we need to tap into our inner strength and determination to move forward. We can shed tears if we must. Um, you know, Tears are not a sign of fragility, but a symbol of resilience and resolve. Trees teach us the value of independence and self care. They don't rely on grass and other external elements to thrive. They prioritize their growth and their well being internally, right? Never, I just want to say this never, because I know me as a woman, I always apologize when you start to feel tears come down. But I want to say never apologize for shedding tears. Letting go of emotions that weigh us down, holding on to emotional chemicals only hinders our progress, just as a tree unable to shed its internal water source impedes its growth. In a world that encourages us to mask our emotions, we must remember that tears are not a sign of weakness. They are a testimony of our humanity and a release valve of our inner strength and a source of strength. Just as trees embrace their tears to become their most magnificent selves, we should allow ourselves to release what holds us back. So as we navigate the journey of life, let us be resilient as a tree. Short and sweet, Kevin.
I put a timer on that. I'm going to say sweet, but you need to define short. uh, I, I'm going to tell you that was powerful. I made light of it just because we're family here, and this is a safe place for it. But it is powerful when you listen to the words, and you look at the quote. The trees don't hang around grass, even though they start from the same place. But I am so glad I don't have to follow you. But I'm going to set you up to have someone follow you that's got some words, because he always talks about short and sweet. He makes comments on our things. It's finally we got a short quote. Hey, he laughs at me all the time because I'm a writer, so I like words. But he is one of our celebrities on this platform. He is struggling along with the other members of my family going through the writer's strike, and I'm going to keep bringing this up until we overcome the bias of economic equality within this industry. And my brother from another mother, he is my confidant within my conscience. He is my friend when I need to hear the truth, no matter how painful it may be. My brother, Naheem Garcia. How does this
Oh,
quote?
you talking about me? I was like, damn, who's this person? Can't wait to see him. Can't wait to hear what they got to say. I thought Otis is going to get ready to talk.
Well, you know something? You're up. Let's hear about. I mean, we all know, that we all start from the same place, and we all know that sometimes we are preconditioned to remain where we stand, but we're also condemned sometimes when we decide to branch out and do other things, and we reach for the sun. So, how does this quote land on you this morning, Mr.
Trees
Naheem?
don't hang around with grass, even though they started from the same place. I think Tyler Perry said it best. Life or people are like boosters on a rocket. You reach a certain limit and then you fall off. It doesn't mean that the person was wrong. It doesn't mean that the person wasn't right for you. It just means it reaches a limit. Like trees. Trees and grass may be in the same neighborhood, but you're right, they don't hang around each other because they each have their place in life. They each have their role in life. And doesn't necessarily mean that because we in the same neighborhood that we got to connect, even though there's manners and it's being polite and being courteous and checking in with somebody. But the reality of life is that it also means that just because you're in the same place don't mean you're going to be together. Don't mean you're going to hang together. Don't mean you're going to connect. Sometimes my job is not to connect with you. My job is to exist and hover and cover you because trees cover us. Trees provide pure air. Trees provide what is necessary for us to breathe. But at the same time, grass does their job. So they work together, even though they don't hang out together. They work together. That's in life. We need to learn how to work together and be together, even though we don't connect all the time. So be good to thy neighbors, what I got out of this.
Lanez, like he said, short and sweet. Oh, I love my Sundays. I love my Sundays, and I love my family here. Andrea Lyman, president of SAG-AFTRA, on strike right now. Battlefield. There's pictures in the newspaper of you with your hands standing high, clenched, fists clenched, fingers tight, and whatever, jaws clenched. The struggle is never over with, but the struggle is real. This quote, all right, there are many people that are standing on the sidelines waiting and hanging around the weeds, not you. How does this quote land on you?
Well, I guess I see it like it's about being unique. You could be unique or you could just follow the crowd. And there's always that choice, and it's very hard. You want to follow along and fit in and be like everyone else. But it's also wonderful that some people are very unique and embrace their uniqueness. Trees are different. If you walk even in a forest, all the trees are different, whereas the blades of grass sort of work as a unit, as one, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you are a tree, go ahead and embrace it, and go ahead and embrace who you are. Don't try to change and blend in. Try to embrace your uniqueness and envelop every little bit of you that is different, and love it. It could be the simplest thing, like you like some stupid show that you're embarrassed to say that you like, but that's who you are. It's part of what you do, and so go ahead and embrace it and love it and nurture it. And you don't have to blend along and be like the grass and be a uniform kind of thing as grass is. Go ahead and be you. You be you.
You be you and be the best version of you. Be the version that you want your people and your children to see. Be a tree. Be a strong tree. And the voice, I'm going to ask you one more time. I'm going to ask you twice today. Go ahead and deliver this, but I want to hear your take on this quote and how it affects you, because I know you've been busy this week. For the people that just have tuned in, the people that are driving, the people that just got their kids ready for church and they want to listen to us for a little bit, how did this quote land on you? And please go ahead and deliver the quote for people that just tuned in.
Trees don't hang around with grass, even though they started from the same place. When I first looked at the quote and I said, what is this? So I was a little taken back by it. Then realized, yes, they both are seedlings. They started from the ground. Yes, the tree does grow larger. Then I also thought about us as humans. We both came from the mother's womb. We are the seedlings. We are released into the world. We take and grasp whatever we can in the knowledge, and we're around our family, but yet we branch off into our own lives to make it whatever you want it to be.
All right. The truth. There you go. Gilda, James, if you don't mind letting go of Christopher's hands, because I'm going to ask him to talk on his own today. How does this land with you?
Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Everyone just about said what I was thinking anyway. And I just want to add what Andrea said, is to be yourself. I think that's the best thing, is just to be yourself. Not to try to be like someone else, just yourself. And that's what I live by myself. But that's
all right.
Short and sweet, because I don't want to go on.
It's one of those quotes that make you want to go on, because you try to figure out the simplicity and the complex part of the poem. So I mean, of the quote. So I get it. Short and sweet.
And believe it or not, the quote, even though it's short and sweet, it has a lot of layers. It is
complex. It's complex.
It is very, very. And the reason why I'm saving Christopher for last is because it's almost like sitting at the table with Frederick Douglass. You got to notes or whatever, because he's going to say something so profound. He's going to come back and he's going to say, when I first looked at the quote, I was going to say this, but now I'm thinking about this, and having a background in the military and how I've experienced everything. This is the way it landed on me. I don't mean to steal your introduction, Christopher, but go ahead, do your thing.
As he steals your introduction.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to do a whole different approach this time. I'm going to pull my old man card and play it. And you guys have never really sat around an old guy without him telling you a story that just went on forever and just rambled and rambled and rambled. Well,
that means you're talking to me.
When I first saw the quote, the connection of trees and grass kind of threw me for a second. Then I realized, okay, they did come from the same place, as Otis said. I like that. But they basically followed their, genetic code and became grass, became trees. But it does talk to something else. It talks to the association between trees and grass. I can't imagine sitting out on a beautiful day in a field without my back against a tree and my hands gently, stroking the grass as the two work together, as Naeem said, that's just the way it's supposed to be. But here comes the story. We built a house in Connecticut back in 2000, and they set up, the house, and they did a landscape, and they put two beautiful trees. They were like purple something or others, but they leafed purple. It was beautiful. We had two trees in our front yard, and I realized later that only one tree was mine, the other tree was someone else's. So I decided I'm going to make my tree the best tree out there. I watered it every single day. Big mistake. Old folks like to give you advice. Don't water your tree every day. That's bad. What happened was the tree basically developed some type of disease and dwarfed. It didn't grow. So what I took away from that was, even though I pictured this beautiful tree, in my front yard that I would have forever and ever to sit under whatever, I destroyed it or ruined it by overwatering it. Now, let's go to life real quick. As Otis said, we all come from the womb with ideals of our parents of what we're going to be. And all parents want their children to be the very best they can be. The children have the same concept. I want to be the best I can be. I overwatered my tree, hoping it would be the best it would be, and I wound up ruining it. How often does that happen in life? Those people who love you, who want the best for you, overwater you. For whatever reason, it becomes a ruin. Working together, having those two elements, the trees and the grass, working together, is absolutely beautiful. The only thing that I saw negative in the quote was, I thought of they call them the Maryland crab, where one of a group starts to actually develop or become something larger than the rest, and the others pull them back down. Okay. That's the whole idea of separating from the group. And I guess in some selfish way to keep from being pulled back down. But you can always come back, as Andrea said, you can always come back and become part of that. And I think that's life. I think more than anything else, what scared me, I guess I'll use the word, what scared me about this quote is it is so much like life. It is so true to life that I had to look at it like Kevin said, several different times. I changed directions with it several different times, but it is so true to life, it's almost scary. Now I'm done.
All right. So we've got how the quote connects to each and every last one of us individually, and then we ended with Christopher talking about the quote and the truth. We've all come up with great metaphors to this, and like I said, every week you guys are hard act to follow. I don't know if I come across with some great wisdom or just running my mouth for the sake of buying time while we're on this show. But when I first looked at this quote, Otis, if you deliver it one more time,
Certainly.
I catch my thoughts.
Trees don't hang around with grass, even though they started from the same place.
All right. As you know, I just finished and going through the publishing process of my new book, The World's Not Ready for You. Everyone knows here that the original motivation was the loss of my sister and wanting to leave something tangible for my surviving two nephews and niece. The book turned into something a lot more. When I first looked at this quote, anytime I look at a tree, especially a tall tree, I look at the fact that if you cut a tree in half, you look at the lines, you can tell how many years they've been there. And like you said, Christopher, you talk about old folks having the conversation, having the wisdom and so forth. So that came to my mind. And then I listened to the fact that this Friday, I had an opportunity to present myself to a group of retired executives that were helping small businesses find their lane in business, helping them to build pitch decks, helping them to with marketing strategies. And I sat there and I listened, and the advice they were giving me was the advice you give to every blade of grass. let me fertilize you, let me water you, let me cut you every 1 or 2 weeks, and you've got to be 2 inches tall so the neighbors don't complain. But just beyond the edge of the grass, in the background, there is a tree. A tree every single morning thrives in order to get nutrients from the earth. All right. The tree every morning thrives and reaches beyond the tallest of buildings into the sky, reaching for the sun. Although the grass and the weeds have the same opportunity, they are limited based on the way they interpret their life. We cut it back 2 inches. It only wants to grow 3 because they know you're going to cut an inch off. All right. In the event that we don't have a clear view of the shade, we start to branch out. And that's the way negative conversations happens to exist in our lives. And once we start to branch out, we have these weeds. That's the reason why our conversations that don't desire to be a tree becomes conversations of the limitations that we place upon ourselves and those around us. But for some reason, the trees have a massive root system. They are stubborn. They are strong. They overcome the harshest of elements. You can build a sidewalk over it, and in time, the tree will uproot the sidewalk and make space for itself. You can cut a limb off of it, where most people, who you lose a leg, will limp for the rest of their life and complain about the leg they don't have. The tree will grow another branch and reach for the sky again. There's a reason why 80% of us benefit from the 20% of the people that do all the work. All right. But there's a reason why there's a 10% underlying there that becomes the leaves on a tree, that becomes a seed of a tree, that somehow detaches itself from its tree and becomes a tree itself. They become mentors, motivators, teachers, activists, such as you guys are fighting for the right of, equality in your profession. It becomes, the entrepreneur that Lanez is, and trying to establish a world with AI, trying to get them to understand the benefits and the power, and also the limitations of what this technology is going to bring and how we need to shift and adjust. It also, that tree becomes that message that a person like myself, an author, puts on the words of a page, thinking that someone else in this world has been in either my situation, has either walked down the trails, have either struggled the same struggles I had to come, has been faced with adversities and had no answer, had no friends in order to tell them this is the way to go, the way that I lean on Naheem when times are getting tough. Everyone has an opportunity to be a tree. Everyone has an opportunity to be grass. But everyone has an opportunity to live this life based on their terms. And the only way you are limited, if you're happy with being grass.
Mm. It's a choice.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Life-
you live in the same community, but you don't necessarily connect, or you live in the same community and you have a different job. We all have different jobs. The
Yeah.
tree has its job, the grass has its job, the dirt has its job, even though the dirt is the source of all of it,
Yeah.
like the womb, right? Right, Otis, like the womb.
Correct.
You
Yeah.
know, it's a nice. You guys, Kevin makes fun of me, but a lot of long quotes self-explanatory, right? After a while, the quote starts to explain itself when it's long. But when it's short and impact like this, it's like the character I play, Bobo. I wait 2 hours to tell somebody in less than 6 minutes that I waited 6 hours for somebody else, right? This is what the whole point, Bobo comes back and said, I waited for this guy. He's gone, blah, blah. It's very short, but the impact, people say, I look at it and there are layers and layers and layers into this one moment, the 6 minutes that this man has explained, because it pops the bottle and it explodes everything. It reveals everything. And just like the character, I had to think about what was happening for 6 hours. What was the relationship with this person that he's waiting for? What is the relationship with the person he's getting ready to come back and tell something to? It's not just cut and dry. He robbed us. What if he got injured? What if he got robbed? What if something happened? What if somebody was hearing us at the bar running our mouth about this money that we're going to do in this liquor store that we're going to open, and then waited at 7 o'clock in the morning for Willie, and Willie done got his butt dumped in the trunk, taken somewhere and murdered while I'm at the train station waiting, and Walter's at home celebrating because he did something that he thinks is going to work out. It's the same thing with life. You don't know if you're going to come up grass, and you don't know if you're going to come up a tree. But whatever you do, come up and be green about it. Be pure about it. Be strong about it. Just like my mama used to say, I know that we have water and peanut butter in the fridge, but you leave out of here like you got steak and potatoes. You make sure that you walk out of here and you present yourself and you do whatever you got to do to the fullest. To the fullest. And I am back to what I was saying about the little part that I'm playing. It's not a little part, it's an important part. The grass is an important part. The tree is an important part. The ground that is coming from is an important part. Everybody plays a role, even though you don't have the same position. That's what I was trying to say earlier. But I was waking up. But I was waking up.
I love it when Naheem sits on a chair after we put a tack in it and he finally realized it hurts. You see what happened? And Naheem, believe it or not,
that's because I got a numb ass.
I learned a lot. I mean, I don't make light of the fact I'm a writer, so I like to write, and that's the reason why I have an editor, because she makes a long story short, and I pay attention. I learn from each and every last one of you every single Sunday. I walk away thinking that I'm complete, and I walk away after this feeling whole. So you guys pour into me every single week. I understand when Oprah receives gratitude and admiration from people that support her and whatever. And I understand why she cries. I was not allowed to cry when I was a kid. You guys have brought emotions out of me where my eyes sweat when I'm around you. And I love it. You guys allow me to have a conversation with a group of people that I can say I sincerely love and not have to worry about HR costing me my job or canceling my show, because this is what the reality is. And when you talk about the ground, you talk about what you believe in. It could be your faith, it could be God, however you want to do it. When you talk about this earth, you talk about your existence in this world. When you talk about what your responsibility is, we all come into this world the day that we're born with a responsibility in order to make that dash mean something, to leave something behind once we get to that date that none of us will ever see and never know. All right. So remember, when people tell you the two most important dates that in your life is the day you're born and the day you find out why, there's only one date that's really important in your life, is that little line in the middle that defines on how you live this life. And that date will change every single day you stand in your shoes in presence of someone in your presence, and you pass on your wisdom, be it young or old, Christopher. You passed on your knowledge, Naheem, and your experience. They're saying there's no small part, there's only small actors doing big things. When you pass on your heart, Andrea, when you stand up for something that other people won't stand up for, and you be that voice for the people that want to be heard. And Otis, when you exercise the gift that God gave you to have that silky, golden, smooth voice, that not only does it wake you up and calm your soul, but when you need shaking up, the vibrator in your voice makes the reality of their potential earth shaking, if that's a word at all. So with that said, all right, we're killing today on time. I hope everyone enjoys this episode of Motivational Sundays with Kevin and Friends. This is our 99th episode. The next time will be 100 that we've all been together. Most people don't have shoes that they've kept that long for 100 days, but we have friends. I mean, and when I say we have friends, friends become family, and family becomes more than just friendship. It becomes a safe place for us to be, no matter how rough the tide of the ocean may be. And I thank you. So I know you guys have other things going on in this life, and I like to promote what you're doing. and use this platform to exercise your right to promote life, make a comment, give something back, and whatever. Naheem, I know that you can't talk about everything you're doing because of the writer's strike, but you've done great things in the Boston area. If anyone is in the Boston area and you go see the Martin Luther King exhibit, I don't know, remember exactly where that, but when
King
you
Embrace.
yeah, it's his voice on there. If you go look up Nassim Garcia and look at his bio, he has shared the stage with some of the most successful and popular actors and actresses in Hollywood. He is a star, and lucky for us, he's our friend. So, Naheem, if you don't mind, give us an update. What's going on in life?
Doing whatever Andrea says to do with this strike.
Mhm.
Yes, the president. No, and I'm doing a Raisin in the Sun. We're wrapping that up, and I accepted playing King Hedley. I mean, not King Hedley, playing Elmore and King Hedley II, August Wilson's play. So I'll be doing that, and Andrea connected me with a group, to mock trial. I'm going to be doing that, and and I'm working on some other stuff. But the biggest role and the best role is coming together with my colleagues on a Sunday morning and just sharing a simple thought and then going about our business, short and sweet.
I love you.
And Larnez, it's a pleasure to meet you. And I
Nice
got
to
to
meet
ask
you
Christopher
also.
and Gilda. I'm looking at Christopher and Gilda's background. I'm saying, is that a background? Or is that their house?
That's the house.
Damn.
But
Beautiful.
hey, now you were saying, Laura, earlier, some great advice your mom gave you. You guys had peanut butter with your water in the refrigerator? All we had was water in our refrigerator. We didn't have
Well, the peanut butter was turning green. I thought, and they said it came from the military.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
The peanut butter was green, but they said it came from the military. And as an immigrant from Cuba, it wasn't that we was poor and hard, but times were tough. I mean, things worked out later on. I mean, my mother, by the end of it, ended up with about 4 masters and 3 doctorates in theology, and my aunt and my grandmother both retired teachers, and we pulled ourselves up. But I remember those days walking to school, the kids are wearing the Pro Kids and the latest, and I got the Bobo sneakers, and I'm looking like an immigrant. But at the end of the day, it's okay, because that humbled me. That humbled me. That made me who I am, and it made me appreciate things. But I just wanted to comment on that. I said, damn, that background though, they can move, and it's not like my background. You can see I'm coming in and out, but I'm like, damn. And he said, no, this is the house. I'm like, this is
The
beautiful.
funny thing is, Naheem, we've been saying that every single week about the background, because it looks like it's photoshopped. It's perfect. Everything's in line. Everything's in place. So,
Right now.
but the other thing, for those of you that are listening to this podcast and don't get a chance to see this video on our YouTube page, and if you want to, go to RMK Productions and Network on our YouTube page. Gilda always shows up with such a colorful headdress. It is just amazing. If I can get a photo of one of these, that'll be the next thing that I draw. It is so interesting, and her eyes are just light up. But the other thing I want to say, I say this when I'm doing my presentation or my speaking engagements with Dating with the Full Deck. I can always tell someone that is madly in love with their partner, because they are always touching each other. And I know in the morning, me touching someone in the morning means something, but Gilda and Christopher are always side by side, no matter where they're at.
I'm a little mad about my Cadillac, but I'll be all right.
That's love. Oh, by the way, Christopher, I think whose Mercedes got wrecked this weekend?
He ruined my Mercedes. Somebody hit my Mercedes while he was driving it.
All right,
I got rear-ended, man. It's like a message love tap that happens.
Yeah. I'm glad that you're safe, and I wish that Mercedes would make the car out of the same thing they made the emblem in, because it ran right into the back of the emblem. The emblem is whole. Your back of your car is trashed.
Yes.
It's all about branding. So what are you guys up to, Christopher? And you guys are safe. God bless you.
Well, we got this next week. We have a game to go to. It's
Yeah. We're gonna fill up Fenway Park since all the actual Red Sox fans have gone home and they won't show up anymore. We're gonna go and take their seats at the stadium at the next game.
So that's what we got planned. I think that's the 27th.
Well, I was planning on this. What was it? I forgot what day it was. Otis, what day did we go see Chrissy's play?
That was a week ago today.
Yeah, and I told her that that's all we're going to talk about today, and Chrissy's not here. But Kevin, that play was it was beyond belief.
Yes. Yes, it was
Naheem, I'm not sure if you ever did a play where you're actually in the round. In other words, the stage is right there.
Yeah, I've directed a lot of plays in the round.
Oh God, that is so engaging. It just grabs you, and you're now part of it.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about facing anybody. Whichever way you're facing, you're seeing somebody, and it's direction.
That's right.
Yeah, Chris Evans, right? She's
Chris Evans, right?
Play. Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. So, Andrea, all right, freedom fighter, activist, strong woman, whatever. There's gonna be a movie about you. I can see it coming.
Yeah.
All right.
No, there's going to be a movie about my mother who went from, who was 13 of 16 kids growing up on a farm, started in a one-room schoolhouse and got a PhD at Harvard and running things in Newton schools, you know, when she was there. I mean, she's a person who's changed the world. I have so many relatives who have changed the world, and they help my acting too, because whatever role I have, I always have an aunt, an uncle, or a cousin who, and fill in the blanks. And so whatever the role is, like, okay, that's sort of like my cousin Ricky. All right, I'll use that, you know, for whatever it is. That I am so blessed with family. And by the way, speaking of seeing things, Naheem was on fire. I tell you, A Raisin in the Sun. And I gotta say, A Raisin in the Sun is not one of my favorite shows, only because I don't like the sad. And so I don't like when people don't win. And so it has a lot of sad parts, but it has a lot of, but when I saw this, it wasn't so sad. It was more up. They embraced the upbeat parts of the show. And Naheem just, you know, I tell you, he really did. I can't wait to see him in his next production.
Me neither. The only concern is it was nice to have that little short part and come in and out. Now we talking about the next play. It's August Wilson. The same play when I was 26 years old, understudying, and I told August, I said, "You can't find a shorter way to do this." And he looked at me and walked away. Yeah, because it's like he left and came back, and all these characters, the monologues they have now, are like layers and layers and layers, because he was really struggling with the 80s. But he really told some truth. And I think this is his way of getting back to me. I'm gonna get you about 20-something years later. I'm gonna give you this monologue. I hope your memory's good. That's all I gotta say.
Like I said, Naheem, writers like to write.
Yes.
And remember, in your business, the more you have to talk, the more they pay you. So don't abbreviate.
But that's not
necessarily
true.
so. Thank you,
true.
Andrew. Not necessarily so.
He got paid the same for the part he had in contract wise, the same that on Raising the Sun than he would in King Headley. It doesn't. Yeah, no. In a play, you say, "Hey, I thought the fire was over there," and the other person is talking for pages. You get in the same check.
Yeah, right, buddy.
That's the way the contract goes.
At least you got,
buddy.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you one day my connection to August Wilson. I don't want to bring a Debbie Downer, but I had a fraternity brother in the original play, Raisin in the Sun. I'm going to tell it anyway. That Bobby, he was a big thing on my college campus at Central State University. And 2 days before he was to leave to go to New York to perform on stage on Broadway, was eating a chicken sandwich and choked on it and lost his life. So that was the story, and we still talk about that. By far, he was the original Luther Vandross. That guy, I would tell you, he would get up on stage, and he was 300 plus pounds, whatever, and he would sing, and you would think he was Bobby Womack or the Jackson Five, the way the women reacted to him. I mean, basically, I wouldn't even take my girlfriend to see him perform because all she thought about was Bobby. That's how dynamic he was. And rest in peace, Bobby. But Larnez, all right,
Yes.
new queen to the show. All right, having a good time. You're welcome, welcome, and you'll find out that this family doesn't hold anything back. So
Yeah, where
enjoy.
you from?
Yeah, she's from
I'm
New
from
York.
New York.
Oh, you in New York?
Yes, Naeem, Andrea, I watched a few episodes before I made an appearance, so I feel like I know y'all already because I was doing homework. What am I doing? So I have an AI workshop coming up. Basically, I'm going into the underserved community, showing people that they need to learn this AI tool because that's what it is, and try to remove some of the fear that society is telling us, right? Because at the end of the day, the older you are, the easier it is for you to learn this tool and adapt it to your life. So I talk to a lot of people. I do one AI 101 classes just for people to leverage this tool so they can become the 1% right now and scale. That's pretty much all I'm doing right now, and promoting my book, which I'll be on your show soon to come. Waiting for the date, Mr. Let me blink at you, Mr. Kevin.
Well, that date is coming. I had 12 other people ahead of you, and I'm trying to get everyone's schedule because of the holidays are coming up. It's a little bit of a challenge, and I do want to put this out there. I did not make plans to do our holiday Christmas performance. So if there is a musical group that wants to some free advertisement and promote that, I don't care if it's a cappella or whatever the case may be. If you want to showcase your talents, reach out to us at info@rmkproductions.org. Let us know. We are looking for a group. We're not paying you. Your pay is through your exposure. So if you got talent, you're more than welcome. Otis, the voice. The voice, the voice. What's going on with you? And as in another background,
Oh,
He's
yes.
sitting in his porch. He's sitting in his porch. That's the background.
Another picture I took while I was at work at the Seaport Hotel. Because I networked with a good friend of mine, Sam Zillick, I went to the 48-hour film festival. He contacted me with another friend of his, Connor Morley, who just now casted me in a film he's going to be doing in March. Like Naeem, it's a smaller role. It's a crazy, wacky guy that's wielding an axe, trying to kill the writer.
Shoot.
I guess he's representing the studios.
I'm an author. I don't want to hear any more about your play.
He's only trying to kill the writer because the other guy that's trying to get his script is going to steal it from him. Says, don't let it happen.
Wait a minute. That sounds like a reading of a script that we did not long ago.
Really?
A writer using somebody else.
Yep.
It does. And you know something?
Sounds like the deal.
We have to revisit because we are going to be performing that live. Hopefully sometime soon as David comes out of his production. I talked to him a couple days ago, so we are going to spend a weekend and we're gonna fine tune the screenplay, and all of these people that are on this set right now, plus a few more, will be playing characters in the deal. Our ultimate goal is to self-produce and promote this film because it is a story that needs to be told. And so with that said, I won't take up any more time. To our listeners, to our guests, I'm Kevin Mclemore. I was blessed to have my co-host Naeem, Christopher, Gilda, Andrea, Otis, and Lanez. And I hope that everyone here, you enjoyed.
Did we hear Christopher and Gilda's story? What they're up to?
Yeah. Did I not miss you? Did I miss you guys?
No,
I think you missed them.
Yeah,
Oh, they were the
we
first
didn't hear
ones.
what they're up to.
Weren't they the first ones?
Right. They talked about going to the Red Sox game next week.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, they did.
I'm sorry.
See,
I'm so
this
old.
week.
like It's because
Yeah,
you're a
Right.
tree, Andrea. You didn't see what the grass was doing.
Senior
Yeah,
moment.
yeah.
Senior moment. No,
I was
senior moment.
co-signing. I was
yeah.
co-signing.
And I try so hard not to have to edit my show when we do this, and you just made me go back and have to do some work because I like being real.
Sorry.
But to our guests, if you like what you've heard, and I thank you for sharing this space. We meet every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to see the show and see all of us, go to RMK Productions and Network on our YouTube page. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, go to info@RMK Productions and rmkproductions.org. Fill out the information, and we will be more than happy to send you the link. I think it's out there on social media. I think it's also in the body of this show, and the product is in the description of it. I enjoy this every single weekend. I hope our listeners and our guests enjoy being co-hosts of this show. Um, it's doing some great things for a lot of people. I heard people in Tyler Perry's camp listen to the show. I don't know exactly who, but I'm connected to someone that's friends with him. So I do know that it's reaching on a global basis. I do know someone in Nigeria that actually has commented and listened to the show. So we are on a true global platform. As I mentioned, I'm the host of Talking with Kevin and Son, which Naheem has been a guest to tell his story. Lanez is soon to be coming. That's going to come on there. And what I may just do is just bring all you guys on as guests, and let's do a little round table about some things that's going on. Dion, even though you lost your game the other day, we're not throwing any shade on you. I'm very proud of you, young brother. I'm very proud of the community in Colorado gathering around the positivity that this young man's bringing. And for those that you condemn him, look in the mirror. All right. And so with that said, my grandfather always said, when you get to a place that you can help someone else, it is your duty to do so. Reach one, teach one, and never forget resilience is a mentality. And we're out. We'll fade to black.